What's up YouTube? It's your boy Sax and I'm back with another video for you guys today, and I'm bringing back the music themed video segments, and welcome to an episode of Call and Response. It's been a while since I've did these kind of things. Call and Response is just when one musician plays one line, another musician responds to that line. It may not be exactly the same, but it's pretty similar so that you can tell they're responding to each other. In this segment, it's a video response segment where I'll be responding to other YouTubers about different topics on the gaming industry. And today, I'm responding to the homie Jedi Knight New York in reference to a video I did before, and I kind of called him out in that video, and he responded. It was basically talking about the RX 480 and why I was disappointed in it, and he was talking about why he wasn't disappointed. We're essentially two sides of the same coin, and it's great to see that we have different opinions, but they're still pretty logical and cool. So shout out to him. For you guys who aren't subscribed to him, even though I'm sure most of you guys are, definitely subscribe to him. I appreciate his content. We both have a similar casual perspective to things, and we just present them in different ways. So definitely, if you like my videos, definitely please go and subscribe to his. So without further ado, let's go. So Jedi Knight did make a lengthy video response to me, about 11 minutes. Hopefully I don't run that long. I try to get straight to the point. And he did sum up his video very well in the end, and here's a little snippet of that here.
So as you can see with the overclocked version of the SSC card, not many games, but some games you actually have the card outperforming the GTX 980, but for the most part, it's kind of close. Now the reason why I show this is the RX 480 is a brand new card. The card is basically less than 24 hours old on the market, right? It's on its very first driver. Vulkan is not a standard as of yet, meaning that there are not a plethora of games that have Vulkan as, you know, an API to be used. And we don't have partners making overclocked editions of the card. So what I'm showing you is a comparison between a reference card, which will be the lowest performing RX 480 card on the market once the other partners start to make overclocked versions of this card, versus one of the most powerful 970 cards you can purchase. On top of that, since that is on par, it is fair to say that once you start to get these overclocked cards, a standard overclock, a super overclocked card, classified cards, what have you, what you're gonna find is you're gonna start seeing RX 480 cards rivaling GTX 980 cards. In other words, you're having the performance of a $500 current gen graphics card being met by a quote-unquote next gen $200 Polaris graphics card. I think that's going to be undeniable, and this is why I kind of disagreed with your position on the video. It's not barely compared.
So I definitely see what his argument is once we, watch that little snippet. His argument basically consisted of, this is the base model of the 480. This is the lowest of the low you can get, and you're comparing it to the best 970 on the market. It's kind of not fair. Wait until we get better versions of the 480, and that's all understandable. But AMD told them, if you looked at that J2 Sense video which you posted, compare this to the 970. Don't compare it to anything else. Really compare it to the 970. But the problem with that is the 970 was already dethroned by last generation's R9 390. Any benchmark, anywhere you go, anybody, if you look at any computer forums, Reddit, whatever, if someone said the 970 versus the 390, which I would choose, they would tell you to pick the 390 because it's stronger, has more VRAM, and it's just a generally cheaper card versus the GTX 970. And if you were going with the 970, it's just because you wanted something like Shadowplay. It's already been dethroned. AMD took cheap shots at something that was already dethroned. So you're comparing a card that's already been beaten by your last generation card. There is not a fight to be had there. That's pretty kind of backwards marketing, if you ask me. Whereas on the other hand, Nvidia was like, look, take our Titan X, our top of the line card, this is like the highest shit you can get, and said, our new mid-range card, our newest mid-range card, will beat the shit out of that card, and it does perform to that standard. Whereas the 480, and that's the Founders 1070. I'm sorry, that's the Founders 1070 versus a Titan X, where the 480 reference model is struggling in that regard to beat that mid-range card. So that's what I'm saying. That's why it's disappointing. The 970 is already on its knees. That card is already on its knees. But then you mentioned the overclocks, and another reason why I'm disappointed is because the overclocks are bad. Look at this screenshot right here. So as you can see from this, the RX 480 basically only gets a 6% overclock, while the 1070 Founders Edition gets a whopping 15. And that's not even including the other reviewers that are saying that it just overclocks bad, like the.
Alright guys, I'm not going to beat around the bush for this one. Sadly, the RX 480 overclocking headroom is pretty damn limited. I was able to increase the operating frequency by 5%, and that took quite a bit of messing around with AMD's new Wattband overclocking utility to achieve.
So if you overclock these, the extra 100 megahertz they were capable of. So
as you can see with the clips from J2 Sense and Hardware Unboxing, as well as these screenshots that are going on now, it just contributes to why I'm disappointed. When you look at the 1070, its Founders Edition, the reference model, overclocks 15%. And those overclocks show sizable gains in gaming performance with those overclocks. Whereas the reference 480 doesn't overclock well or efficiently, and doesn't have good gains for its overclocks. That leads me into my final point. If we look at all that aside, and talking from one casual gamer to another, you know, we pull the whole casual gaming perspective in here. We're not gonna be looking at overclocks. I brought my 1070 on release day, got it the next day, even though I didn't get one day shipping, but it came the next day. I have not overclocked it yet. I'm gonna overclock it eventually, but I want to enjoy the card for what it is right now, and I am happy really with what my card is for right now. And when people get the 480, and when I look at the 480 for what it is right now at release in its reference model, it's not really impressive to me. Now, of course, as time goes on, like you're saying, when we get other board partners, you know, better, people figure out how to get more stable overclocks and all that stuff, the card will no doubtedly be better. But right now, if I didn't buy the 1070 and I was waiting for the 480 to see what it did, I would just wait even more now with the notion that the 1060 is a few weeks away, just to see what the 1060 has to offer. Because if it's as strong as the 480 with 6 gigs of VRAM and it overclocks how the 1070s and 1080s are, it's going to be a better card. And that's why I'm disappointed. I do exactly see where you're coming from, but my disappointment comes exactly from this reference model as is, not the board partners, but the reference models, because the reference model really does set the standard for the rest of the cards. But you know, that's all I got for you, Jedi Knight. If you feel free to respond if you want, and I'll probably respond back depending on what it is, or I might just leave a comment in the video. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Jedi Knight's argument is more appropriate, or do you think that my opinion on it is? Let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to Jedi Knight, and your boy Sax is out. Peace.